Hey, welcome back to the Don't Make This Weird podcast. It's a special edition. It's not your every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Actually, we are able to get Pete. I always mess this up.
Shumann.
Yeah, I was right. You've been telling me I've been wrong. Got Pete Shumann in the studio. We were lucky to have him come in today. And as always, I have Tony hanging out with me. Unfortunately, Chris wasn't able to make it for this special edition, but he'll be back Thursday night. So
he had to adult.
So, welcome to the studio, Pete Shumann.
Thanks for having me.
I knew I was right. I hate when you people do that
We always give her crap about mispronouncing things because she does it all the time.
I mean, it's true. I do. But this one I did right.
So you remember out at the Red Fair, it was Potter's Apothecary.
Yeah.
She could not pronounce that to save her butt.
Eventually I did. If I talked in like this really uppity, snooty voice, I could do it no problem. Regular, no.
You got to use that. What's the really bad English one? Potter's Apothecary.
Yeah.
See, I could probably do that. No, I'm not gonna even try it. It's really.
Are you like the street English?
Yeah.
Potter's. What a Potter's Apothecary? What a,
There you go.
I can't do any English.
Exactly.
Actually, but
Yeah, I have to talk to Google in different accents and voices too because it doesn't. No.
Oh, it's hilarious. She's got the Stepford wife voice thing that is just incredible.
No, see, now I'm going to start trying to do it that way. Anyway.
Look, Harry Potter, calm down.
This episode's not about me, so let's...
My natural voice is like straight on nasal, so I have to work really hard to talk in my radio voice. Talk down here.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Pete Shumann. How you doing today? If I talk normally, you can't understand me because it's all nasal. So it's kind of a family trait, I think, a little bit.
So we met Pete out at the Ren Fest.
Yeah, that was incredible.
And he has an amazing voice. Just going to say it. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yes.
And he plays the ukulele, correct?
Yeah, I play ukulele. I play a couple different ones. This one's a tenor that I have with me today, and then I have a baritone that I play, which sounds pretty much like a regular guitar. It's got 4 strings, of course, like most of them do, but and then I play harmonica some, and I play keyboards just enough to get in trouble. And,
Nice.
Well, I mean,
We have a keyboard right over there if you're
yeah, well,
interested.
no. I used to play when I was younger, like talking like, teens. And I could play Beethoven and Mozart. I was actually halfway decent. I was getting to that point.
Really?
But you put it away for a while. Now I'm back, and I have a friend who's reteaching me, and it's like Mary had a little lamb. It's amazing how bad it can get if you don't stay up on it. So, like with my ukulele, I'm not a naturally gifted musician. I can sing pretty good naturally, and I've even gotten better over the years. And I write songs. But as far as playing my string instrument, if I don't practice every day, I fall back really quick. And I'm still, I consider myself mediocre. I'm good enough to get through what I need to do. I have friends that are amazing at their stringed instruments, whether it be guitar or mandolin or whatever, and I'm mesmerized by watching them. And I have Swiss cheese knowledge in my musical knowledge. I'm really strong in some areas, and I have big old gaps in my knowledge in other areas. So it's interesting. And sometimes when I'm talking to people that are very well versed, like 2 of my friends actually have music degrees.
Nice.
And so I'll say, well, oh yeah, you need to do the Sabdulian transfer and all that. I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay, it sounds nice.
Tell it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah. Well, they'll get mad at me. That's like, you did this with that song. How'd you do that? And it's like, I don't know. That's the way I heard it in my head. It's like, well, you can't do it that way. It's like, well, I am. And it's like, well, they're like, damn. It's like, I hate you. And it's like,
That is what I'm doing. I don't need your theory.
Well, that's what was really cool running into at the Ren Fair and seeing how oversimplified you were doing everything. But yet it was really cool because no matter where you went, you had that voice and then you had your ukulele. And I mean, what really turned me on to the whole process of how you were doing what you were doing is when you did that Prince tune. And I was like, there's no way that he's doing that. Oh, that's incredible. And the fact that, to me, that's how that song should have been written. Because the way you were singing it, the way you were playing it was so cool. And like, I was fangirling for a minute because I was following you wherever you went.
He really was.
I do appreciate that.
Well, it was great because I come back to the studio and the first thing I said, I'm like, did you see the guy with the ukulele? Because he has an incredible voice and he plays really well. So he graces us at our booth for a little while, playing and singing. And it was so funny with the banter going back and forth between our booth and the jail.
Right.
And he's jumping on board with it because we had that screaming idiot across the way.
Oh yeah.
And then Pete starts playing
It
everything.
was like relaxing. Like
it was great.
I was so close to, going across to that guy. And then Pete comes over and he starts playing and I'm like, okay, I don't feel so hawkish anymore. I can chill out now.
Well, thank you for getting my brain back in place. Now I remember all of it perfectly clear as it happened. Now I remember what corner you guys are on. I remember now talking to you and everything, but I was kind of blanking out for a minute there is exactly.
I imagine you like you said, you meet so many people.
I do, and it's not a good excuse. I've always been that way. I tell my girlfriend when I get older, it won't be any change. She'll be like, "Oh, Pete has dementia." No, Pete's always been this way.
Right.
I just, like I said, I'm really good with faces, but none of the other salient details will come to me. I'll give you an example. I ran into an ex-girlfriend's brother. Now I've known this. This is a guy I met once. This is a guy I had Christmas dinner with. This is someone I really knew.
Right.
And he came up to me on the street. I was playing in South Haven. I was playing on the street there. And he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I don't know if he changed his hair or what, but he was all dressed up for work too. That's part of it too. And I just wasn't expecting to see him. And it's like, "Hi, how you doing?" Just his name would not come to me. And he's like, "Dude, you don't remember my name?" No, I said, "I know who you are, but the name is blank." And I mean, right. Of
course.
He said, "Well, I'm going to go to lunch with my boss, and I'm going to come back, and by then you should have it." And I said, "No." I Googled it. I Facebooked it. And I told him that when he got. I'm pretty honest about my defaults. It's like I said, or my defects. I meant to say. I said, "Dude," I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I had to actually Facebook your name. It wasn't coming to me. I really apologize. I know I know you're what's your name's, brother and all that, but I'm not going to say her name on the
right.
Right.
But it was just embarrassing. It's like, oh, geez, Like I said, it wasn't somebody I casually ran into once or twice. This is someone I really knew. So
right.
Yeah, I do that stuff too, and Adam will look at me and be like, "You gonna like for the when we first started dating?" He's like, "You gonna introduce me like in front of people?" After that, I started saying, "Okay, if I don't say their name to you, please
I don't know
say, oh, my name's Adam. What's your name again?" Or something. I said, "Please have my back." So now he does. So I get you.
Kelly and I will do that because because I'm pretty polite. If I introduce you to somebody, it's because I just don't know. I'm blanking
Same.
at that moment. And my brother's sitting here next to me, and I'm sure he has a similar situation because he meets him and his wife are in business, and he meets hundreds of people a year too. So it's it's so hard to keep, as much as you want to be respectful of people and you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's so hard to keep all that at your ready.
Yeah.
My brother Henry has been in sales his whole life, and one of his great talents is that he can do that.
Yeah.
And I'm always mesmerized by that because he does. That's Jimmy Joe, and he's what's his name's brother, and it's he is totally his recollection is like,
wow,
that's a gift, man. You don't realize what a gift that is. I cannot do that. It's
right.
I'm the same way. I mean, given the industry that we're in and doing all the stuff that we do, festivals, concerts, shows, the whole 9 yards, I'm so horrible with that because Heather and I will meet somebody and most of the time she'll pick right up on it. I never forget a face, but as far as remembering a name, I'm like, yeah, you're blah, 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 blah. Unless it's something that is directly connected to music, i.e. you, or, a band or somebody like that I've met, where it really sticks out and makes an impression. It's like, how can you forget somebody like that? Where, the name comes along with it, the music, how many cats they have, what they're growing in their garden, whatever.
Right.
So, yeah.
Our brains are a beautiful, wonderful, weird thing.
They are.
I mean, as a guy, I always remember, of course, women that I'm attracted to, I always remember their names, and women in general, I remember their names more than do guys.
Of course.
You're just some dude 47. This is Heather over here, So,
right.
And Sasha, but I mean, almost like 9 times out of 10, if I remember a name, it's a lot easier if it's a woman's name for whatever reason.
Of
but
course.
then women tend to repeat their names. I've noticed better too. That look, you say hi, and they'll say, hi, I'm Heather, whoever, Or a guy say, hey, dude. It's like, no, dude doesn't help me.
Yeah, you make a good point there.
The dude abides.
Right. Oh yeah, lots of fun stuff there. I've always been better with faces too, so we're not really a good team.
No.
We?
So I'm like, hey, how's it going, boss?
Buddy.
Bud. Dude, you're the guy that does
those nice
the dude.
generic words.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, to me, anybody that knows me knows it's pretty much a formal greeting for the simple fact is that I suck that bad at remembering names. Because, Heather and I, because we'll meet people and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, this is my co-host. Yep. And just completely gone.
I'm just going to start making up different names and see if he notices.
She's done that before.
Janelle.
Totally
My name
done
is
that before.
Janelle.
Well, it's like waitresses that call everybody sweetheart or honey or whatever.
Right.
It's not a disrespect. It's just like, when you're waiting on hundreds of people a day, it's like just easier just to do that, and it's just
Exactly.
It's showing some appreciation and affection to people without having to remember anything. So
It's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Right. So, speaking of, meeting so many different people, like what all entails with what you do with your music? Like you travel, you have regular shows, or
I'd like to say all that was true. Mine's a mixed bag of things. I used to play Old World Village quite a bit until they changed their process, and I just for various reasons can't afford to play out there anymore.
Right.
I played Frankenmuth this year, or whatever you call it, Mid-Michigan Regional. What do you call it? I forget, it's the long name they have for that.
Mid-Michigan Renaissance Festival.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I always call it, Tracy's backyard. My niece Tracy and her husband live right.
Oh, okay.
She
Nice.
married into the Knoll family. Knoll family owns that property. And so,
Yeah, we love Miss Tony.
yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, mostly for me, it's breweries and small places around Kalamazoo area. It's farmers markets. I do a lot of farmers markets. I do a lot of gigs in South Haven, which is an hour away from me, but it's a tourist town, a lot of foot traffic. So
Right.
Of course.
I get paid for places to play in front of their place and draw attention to it. I get paid to play inside places. Sometimes I'm just playing there on the street, but I do well enough as a street performer in South Haven to make it worthwhile to drive
That's
over
awesome.
there. So it's whatever I can do to make money doing music is what I do. And now this time of year, I always got to take it like I'm the promotions manager now for Chow House Restaurants. I got 2 locations in Kalamazoo area, and one in Schoolcraft and one in downtown Kalamazoo. Anyway, and,
We're not above shameless
No.
promotion,
Yeah.
so
Not at all.
but and I'm doing the booking. If you know anybody musicians that are in the Kalamazoo area and are interested, I do all the booking for those 2 places. We don't
Oh,
pay
very
much,
cool.
but we feed you, and you get a little exposure. But it's a tiny place, so we don't pay the big money.
Right.
But it is nice. We get a lot of nice music in there, and like I said, I just play it wherever I can. I started out the first place. It's kind of soft in my heart. The first place that ever paid me to play as a solo act was Old World Village.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I had a friend who her mom died, and she had to cancel out. She said, "Will you go and cover for me out there?" And I did. And they liked me well enough they kept calling me back. But
Wow.
strangely enough, I was never under regular contract. But every time they needed somebody, they'd call me. And then
Nice.
I was kind of surprised when I got my 1099 last year. I was like, "Oh, I made more than I thought I did. Damn." I better start putting money aside for the taxes,
right.
Oh, yeah.
And but I mean, it's like between that and South Haven and the farmers markets, that's where the majority of my funds come from music. I'd like to say it was something fancier and bigger, but it's not.
But you're doing what you love doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all like that is fancy. Like it's
Well, I'll tell you the other secret to that is that I've been doing this. I'm 50 years old, and it wasn't until I was. It wasn't until I was 14.
You just
She
made
totally
me
just made
you made me
double
twitch
take.
because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
50? No
Yeah, it's a
way.
fat. It keeps the wrinkles away. But anyway, it's the truth.
That is epic.
I didn't have the guts to get up on solo until I was just about three and a half years ago, and so that's what I've started playing. And then I've been writing songs for like 25 years, but I just started getting halfway decent at doing it the last couple of years. I think I always joke that I've written like 500 songs and 10 of them are good.
That's the truth, though.
Yeah,
That's that whole
it's
methodology.
It's a numbers game, and it's like anything else. You get better with it as you get along, and
Right.
hopefully. And but anyway, I got real sick earlier this year, and I thought I had. Luckily, I don't. I thought I had cancer. It felt like somebody was stabbing me in my insides with a sword. It was that bad.
Ouch.
And I had a couple months where I didn't leave the house. It was not good for my economics at all. But I decided that, you know what? I don't know what else I'll be able to do. I couldn't go work in a factory. I couldn't, at that point in time. I said, I'm just going to focus on the music this year as much as I can
Right.
and try to do that full time. So between the beginning of the year and just recently, that's all I've been doing is full time as a music, and I've been pretty much paying the bills, so that's good. But now I've had to actually go back to real work again, which is really boring. But
Yeah.
but you got to be an adult. You got to, But
Yeah.
for me, a part of it was not just trying to get away from being an adult, but just I just physically couldn't only do so many things. So I had
Of course.
it was kind of a godsend. It pushed me to focus on the music more, and I wrote quite a bit this year. A lot of it on the fly. I wrote one the other day. I was we were on the way to play at another gig, my girlfriend and I was listening to a friend's CD on the radio, on the radio, and her name's Michelle Peters. Everybody gets a chance to listen to her stuff. She's awesome.
All right.
But she has a song called "Waiting," and it's about basically about getting there wasted while you're waiting for your ex-lover to come around and all this, and it's it's a real country. She's got
Nice.
like a Bonnie Raitt-ish sort of voice. It's really cool
okay.
voice she's got. But I'm thinking, what would I give up for somebody I love? And in the song, I wrote a song called "My Only Addiction Is You," but I actually wrote it in my head on the way to this gig, and then I actually tried it out at the gig, and I wouldn't say it fantastic. It was okay, and then I improved on it, and now it's a little bit better. But it's just a basic blues type of song.
Nice.
So, do you want to give us a sample of that?
I could. I don't have it pulled up, but I'll get it for you real quick. I was going to do
awesome.
another one first.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
This one's called Beyond the Moon, and I actually wrote it for the Ren Festival. And the funny part about it is I really didn't like it. But I said I changed it around a little bit. Because when I first started, is this on? Is the mic
Yeah,
on?
I just turned on.
So I was like, when I first started, it was for the Ren Festival. Like, beyond the moon, beyond the stars. Like, supposed to be in Renaissance. And I'm really terrible, but I usually do not. I'm the world's worst Renaissance performer. Like, you got to play Renaissance stuff. So I don't play Renaissance stuff. Right. It's great because I have a stage where people get bored with the other stuff. They can come listen to regular music or somewhat regular music. And that seems to work out. I've played for years at these places, and I've always been the odd guy out. In fact, someone actually called me out. One of the other musicians, like, you have to play Renaissance music. I was like, dude, that's not the contract I signed.
Right.
No one told me that was, but it's kind of funny. Is I never had anybody like really call me out on it before. I was kind of like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so this one's called Beyond the Moon. It's like a lot of my stuff, a syrupy love song. So it's. I won't do it all. I'll just do like half it, so I don't have to. Beyond the moon, beyond the stars, beyond all hope, there you are, there you are. Above the clouds, above the sky, in moon dust shines my love for you, ever true, my dear. Sparkling eyes, bright as jewels, speak to the heart of a loving fool, of a loving fool. That's about half it. I don't spend all day on this, but that just gives you an idea. That was something that was actually written in a totally different style. I mean, they didn't change accordion or anything, but it was meant to be like high scale, for the Renaissance Festival.
It's really pretty. I like that.
Yeah, it's
Very nice.
You get lucky on things. I did. My niece is getting married. My niece Rachel's getting married soon, and she asked me to sing for her wedding. And I said, well, do you want a mine or do you want to do And she says, well, if you got something, send me some things to see what she does. So I sent her one that I wrote. And I keep doing that to you guys. I don't have that pulled up right now, but I'll play it later, if you want. But the idea was like I said, I sent her like 40 ideas for different songs we could sing at a wedding, and I didn't want it to be about me. It's not my day, it's her day.
Of course.
But she's like, no, I want you to sing that original. So okay, so I'm gonna keep practicing it so I have it down all the way. 'Cause, you know what happens when you write? It's kind of funny, but like you don't know the words to your own songs. Like,
Yes.
you don't understand is that it isn't the same song.
Right.
It's like dipping your toe in the river. It's I start out a song and I write it and then I keep improving on it.
Right.
And then when I go to perform, the one that comes out of my head might be version 32. It isn't version 30.
Yes.
Or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly.
And so, and it's like people don't understand that. It's like, well, because they listen to something on the radio. There's only one version. No, that guy probably wrote that 400 times. And that's
Oh,
the
of
version
course.
they put on the radio for you to hear,
Yeah, because that's the
So-
one that they captured the magic.
This is the one
in
I was
studio.
talking about. My Only Addiction. This is it's kind of a bluesy song, and it's like I wish I had the baritone. The baritone was in. It needs to be worked on. I did it better on the baritone, but we'll do it on here. So this is it's your basic blues type of riff, and it's a. Gave up the cigarettes, I gave up the booze. No more cigars, weed or chew. No more Saturdays betting on Seattle's glue. Darling, my only addiction is you. No more late night carousing. No more 5-card stud. No roulette wheel to take my pay. No back alley crap still too. Darling, I'm only betting on you. No fudge-covered cherries, pudding cake with cream frosting. No brownies to chew. Baby Ben and Jerry's got fired too. Darling, my only indulgence is you. These days I'm in bed by 10 each night. I'm up early, catch that morning light. No more sleeping late in the chair. I got coffee brewing, waiting for you, dear. Darling, you're all I'm addicted. Darling, you're all I'm addicted. Darling, you're all I'm addicted to. I gave up cigarettes, I gave up the booze. No more cigars, weed or chew. No more Saturdays betting on Seattle's glue. Darling, my only addiction is you. Yeah, darling, my only addiction is you.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. I actually started to get like the little goosebumps going on.
Well,
so.
good. That's what we're aiming for.
So you're doing it. You got it.
See, fangirl right here.
See, now
here.
I understand. I get it now.
See?
I
My
get it.
my goal is to have. I want one of our songs that when you get in the shower in the morning,
Yeah.
is like I have songs that I love that is like I'll be showering up in the morning. It starts playing in my head whether I want it to or not. You know. Sometimes the songs you hate, but it's still. Oh God, what's that stupid song they got right now? It's a country/pop song, but it sticks in your
I think
head.
that's all of them.
Yeah. But this is I'll think of it in a minute. But it's a chick. She's been in America, got talent and all those. As like the guest host and all. It doesn't matter. But she's like a hip hop / country girl, and she does that kind of stuff.
The one I
Sure.
can think of is the one where if it's meant to be,
Yeah, that's the song.
Okay.
That's and I hated it.
but it sticks
But
in
it
your
sticks,
head.
It sticks to the side of your head and you can't get out of it. I kept telling my girlfriends, I hate this song, but it's in my head.
Yeah.
You know, because it's got kind of like I hate when they do like hip hop country type stuff,
Yeah.
and that's kind of got a little bit of it, and it's like that's just kind of annoying to me. But at the same time, it's a very catchy hook.
It is, yeah.
That hook gets you. So you know, you can't be mad at somebody for doing it. They're good a good hook. That's God bless them. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and like, as you were talking about being a songwriter or whatnot, when you find that hook, it's infectious.
Yeah.
And, just hearing you do this stuff out at the Ren Fair, and I'm like, when I come back to the booth, I go, Heather, we have to get him on the podcast.
He did too. He's like,
'cause-
"Did you hear him?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard him." He's like, "Okay, we need to get him on the podcast." I said, did you talk to him, or were you too busy just going,
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is I'm a sucker for musicians.
Yeah.
And if they are great at their craft, as you are, I seriously, I will stalk them and go, okay, can I just like hang out with you and get the experience from a musician standpoint?
And that's really cool, but it's really hard for me. As I'm pretty modest about it.
Yeah.
And I've met so many people that I know are fantastic. So I think that I'm mediocre, decent. And I got a good. I think I've got a good voice. I was blessed with a good voice, but outside of that, as far as a musician, I think I'm there. I'm getting there. And when people get too excited about it, like I don't know how to take it.
Yeah.
And I can understand how people freak out that if I became like strangely famous overnight or something,
Right.
I would need therapy or something. It would be hard for me to take that much adulation.
Right.
My girlfriend's my biggest fan, and she tells me a million times a day how wonderful I am, and it's hard for me to say, honey, you gotta
of
just
course.
chill out on this a little bit. You got me up on this pedestal, and I'm gonna fall down and break my legs, and I'm just not happy with that.
I fall down and break my hand that I used to play, and
Well, that's what was funny about it is when you took your break to go grab something to eat or something. I don't remember what it was, but you left your ukulele there. And I go, can I play it? You're like, yeah, dude, go ahead. So Heather comes back, and then you come back, grab your ukulele, and then you take off to go play at another place. So I elbowed Heather, and I'm like, he let me play it.
If it was that big a deal to you, I would have charged admission, I guess. I don't know.
See, there you
rental
go.
fee or something.
Next time.
That's the thing, though, is to play that goofy thing. And you do it so eloquently, which is great. And I'm not, please don't think that I'm just showering you with praise and stuff. I'm being legitimately honest. Yeah. Trying to figure out how to do the chords on that thing is such an awkward thing because I'm a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, see, and most of the time when I have the annoying part for me is most of my friends are playing stringed instruments for I have friends that I'm 50 and I have a lot of friends that are in their 60s or 70s.
Right.
And a lot of them playing since they're like 13 or 15 or something.
Right.
So they pick up anything with strings and and my friend Miranda picks up my ukulele and she doesn't play ukulele, but she's like, I hate you, just like jamming on the ukulele. I've been toiling over this thing for years to get halfway decent. And but some of it's transference, and some people do a really good job. But like I said, I'll say it again and again. I'm not a natural musician, especially a stringed instrument.
Right.
Technically, it's not something that comes easy to me, so I have to work really hard at it. So
same.
Whenever I get somebody that's really, really good, I'm like, oh, good for you, I kind of admire you and hate you all at the same time.
See, I know where you're coming from with that. Like, I'm good at owning stringed instruments.
Yeah.
There's like 4 over there.
There's a couple over there that have dust on them.
My brother Ted has, I don't know how many he has now. I think he has like 15.
Yeah.
And he just started playing like 10 years ago. He's older than I am. I won't say his age, but he's like, he's 13 years older than I am, so you do the math. But anyway, but he's pretty good. I mean, he's pretty good. He's actually decent for a guy who's only been playing that long. And he's such a busy guy.
No, you're talking about this brother, right?
No, this Leroy. I have a bunch of brothers.
Okay.
My brother Ed died 7 years ago, and he was 5 years. I'm the youngest of 6. And
okay.
So my oldest brother Ted is a CPA. Leroy is his wife's. There's a bunch of accountants in the family. His wife is an accounting business. I should say they have, but I guess.
So we're talking to you to figure out how to pay ourselves when we make $0.
Right.
Anyway, but I have a lot of brothers, and so it's like it's great. It's a good thing to have a big family, and I don't know what I would do if I was just like single or only solo act because
right.
I have a lot of people to give me abuse, and so that makes you tough.
Of course, you got to have alligator skin in this industry, and that's the thing that irritates the crap out of me. Is some of the most talented, ridiculously talented people, whether it's natural or whether it's just hard work. People are so shallow because it's based off the way they look, and I've always hated that. Of wow, really? So you're going to completely dismiss the beauty of what this person is doing with their craft?
Yeah, we've had that conversation
a
dozen times because of when I started doing it. I'm just like, I don't know if I really feel comfortable getting out here in front of all of these people. But you know what? If you love what you're doing, that's what's important.
Right.
And I always tell people I have friends that have been doing this a lot longer than I have, and they're like, "You're so comfortable on stage," and I says, "Well, I'm more comfortable in front of people performing than I am one-on-one most of the time."
Of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of performers that way. But the other thing I just tell them is when they're just starting, is you have to develop an attitude where you just, and I won't swear here, but
you can swear, it's fine.
Well, I mean, no, but I mean, I just I always say that you got to say to make it nice, a little bit nicer, to hell with them.
Right.
Not to hell with the performance, but to hell with worrying about whether you're good enough. To hell with if I make a mistake. You have to let that shit go, or it gets in the way, and you end up being a worse performer.
Of course.
If you can't find a way to be comfortable up there, you're never going to get better. And and that was it said. It's one of the hardest things. That's public speaking. And I think, you could say music is a form of public speaking. It's one of the hardest things for most people. And because you're being judged every time you get up there.
Oh, absolutely.
You see people, and you're not stupid. People will be like 10 feet away from you. They're like, it's real obvious,
Right.
And some people just don't like music.
Yeah.
I've had people where I played South Haven Brew Pub last summer, and I remember one of the most memorable things. And everybody's clapping along, and there's like this one couple. They're like 10 feet away from me. And they just, and the lady kept rolling her eyes, and it's like, finally I just stopped and said, hey, if I'm making you that unhappy, please, I'll buy your dinner. Could you just go somewhere else?
Right.
Just go in the other, because they have an area that's a music area, and they have an area that's inside.
Of course.
They have that outside patio. And the lady's like, was it that noticeable? I was like, yes. I don't want to make anybody unhappy, so I'm obviously making you unhappy.
Of course.
And the other people are like, yeah. He's great. Yoy.
Nice. Yeah.
I had these 4 or 5 dudes that were like slamming their beers that were having a good old time.
Yeah.
What's the next song? Yeah, dude, go. Yeah. Give something to drink by. It's like, all right, you guys don't care, but I'm just glad to have your support. You really don't care. You're like 5 beers into it. You don't care, but
Yeah, keep drinking more. We'll sound great.
I said that at that benefit. People were drinking. I was like, just keep drinking a little bit more. I'll sound so much better. Then you get people requesting, and
the girls all get better at closing time. Musicians always get better sounding at closing time.
Absolutely. That's how I explained probably the first quarter of my career.
That's funny. But
back to it's a funny thing. I had a buddy of mine. He had his, and he's older than I. He's been playing his whole life, but he just decided he was going to start gigging, and it's kind of hilarious. I'm fighting against that. I applaud them at the same time. I hate all the baby boomers because they're making it harder and harder to make money. Because you got all these guys that retired. They've been wanting to play out their whole life.
Of course.
Now they're retired, and there's no financial stake for them, so they'll play everywhere free and everything.
Of course.
And so it's really killer because you're fighting against that.
Oh yeah.
And there's they're just an ongoing tide of them. There's how many gazillion baby boomers, I don't know, but I mean and they all have guitars and they're all out there, and a lot of my friends are very, very talented, but at the same time it's like, man, you gotta quit cutting out,
quit cutting into my cheese, boss. So speaking of gigs, I mean, do you have any coming up that we can go through and
I do.
about?
I got I don't have the dates on the top of my head, but I'm playing the local in Centerville in November and in December.
Okay.
And if you go on Pete Shumann's House of Music, I have all that stuff listed on there. And I'm playing 3 gigs this week. I'm playing actually 2. It's really funny. I'm playing Battle Creek Farmers Market Wednesday and Saturday because someone canceled on one of the dates. So I'm doing the Wednesday and Saturday at the Battle Creek Farmers Market. I think it's 11 to 1.
Okay.
Both those days. And then I'm playing. I can't think of the name of the place. It's on Facebook. I'm playing over by the Nature Center. There's the something house, and I can't. A friend of mine's doing a charity thing out there, and I'm going right from the farmers market out to that place out.
Nice.
It's off of West Ninch in Kalamazoo, out past the Nature Center there. And if I could think of it, Delano House, I think it's called. Anyway,
Okay.
I will post it. It's on my Facebook page, so if everyone go check that out.
Every time you
probably
post
by the time you post this, it'll all be done anyway. I think, isn't it?
Depends on when we
Yeah.
get it, because we've got a couple of guests coming in next week. So
I'm doing for Haji Orchard in Kalamazoo the end of October also. So that's I think it's the last Sunday in October. And again, that's on my Facebook page. And after that, it gets to be I'll be playing Show House sometime in November, and that's I was scheduled before I was the booker, but I'm actually the booker now, so I feel like book myself whenever I want, which is nice. But
that's a bonus.
If you want variety, I can't be there every night.
if I was closer, I'd be there, man.
Yeah,
that'd be so fun.
The funny part about that is when I helped my friends get this restaurant started, and it's like any small restaurant. We started out with this little location at the State Theater in Kalamazoo. It only seat like 25, 30 people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my buddy Frankie working 12, 14 hours a day doing this thing. And then whenever I would take a break, I'd get the ukulele out and I'd play for people. And that became the thing. And then Miranda, who's Frankie's wife, plays really good too, and go to get the guitar out. And so there'd always be one of us playing music, and they got to be part of the deal. People would look forward to coming in. Oh, he plays some songs for us, And I'm covered in grease and flour, but okay, well, so, with my apron on, and the first place was so small I could actually sing behind the counter.
Oh, nice.
And they could hear me all over the whole restaurant.
Oh, that's
Sometimes
cool.
I wouldn't even bother playing the ukulele. I'd just be like frying, schnitzel up and singing, oh, no, singing.
Oh, cool.
And
That's great.
So then we got the new place, and you got the one on Michigan Avenue is a little bigger, and so we got to the point where we could actually have real concerts scheduled, and that's what we did.
That's neat.
And it's really cool. We have a lot of very 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 talented people in Kalamazoo. A lot of them are friends of mine, so it's easy to talk them into coming and playing. I know when the holes in their schedules are, hey, you want to make a few extra bucks because we don't, like I said, we don't pay much, but we'll feed you and we'll give you some money, and it works out good. Usually they're like 2-hour gigs, so it's not real bad.
Generally, that's like the musician's Achilles heel. You say food and money, they're there.
Yeah.
They don't even give it's like a saltine cracker and a package of ketchup. They're there.
Well, we're talking like the chow. The wonderful thing about the chow, it's all homemade. I know they're ad here, sorry, but it's all homemade stuff. Homemade from scratch, like cheesecakes and cheesecake mix that are dipped in chocolate and
we so have to go down there. You know this,
schnitzel
right?
And anytime you're down that way, just give me a call.
I was gonna say,
give you a little discount or something.
what's one of like the most popular dishes that people buy, or like
it would be a cross up between the schnitzel and the pierogies. We started doing a Polish night. Originally, it was just like Thursday nights.
You make
That's my
homemade
people.
pierogies.
But now we have pierogies like every day of the week.
You make homemade pierogies.
Yeah, in fact, we have vegan ones and we have regular ones. The vegan ones to me are actually even better than the original. They're made with I don't know Frankie's recipe, but there's like 8 or 10 different vegetables that are ground up along with the spices and everything inside this. And I usually hate anything vegan, but these are really good. There's a lot of flavor in them. The other ones are cheese and potatoes and onions inside them.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting. I think we should make one that has also bacon.
Absolutely.
Crushed up bacon can never make anything bad, right?
Right.
Or maybe eggs and make like a breakfast pierogi. I'm pushing for that, but as it is, there's only so many of us in the kitchen, and I'm really not technically in the kitchen anymore, and I still get pulled in sometimes because, hey, we need to make 500 pierogies. Come on, Pete, come give us a couple hours. Like, man, I'm in my like go see people clothes. I can't
go see people clothes.
Well, no, because that's what I do now. I go, I'm booking for the catering and all that, and
that is awesome.
Anything to do with promotions, that's what I'm doing. So
you guys do catering, huh?
Yeah, and so anybody getting married or anything, I could make this one giant plug. But let's get back to the music. I'm starting to get hungry. So
it's funny you say that because actually, just this last episode, Heather's boyfriend Adam proposed to her live on the podcast.
And it was a very awkward. It was such an awkward video now that I've seen it, because he's asking me about Christmas stuff because I work at Bronner's. And then he's going on about Christmas and what I like about Christmas and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at the computer because I'm, paying chat.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I look over and he's on his knees asking me to marry him. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that. I wasn't expecting that. So
it was great. Totally blindsided her.
Definitely.
But no, I mean, Heather and I are the same way. We eat at a great restaurant. We go to a venue or whatever. We're not going to shut up about it. And if it's that legitimately good, we're going to keep talking about it.
It is. I mean, I don't know.
Food and music, you got us.
Exactly. Pretty much.
It's hard to keep a restaurant in business, but my friend Frankie had to say is one of those unique people that anything he touches makes taste wonderful. And it's I always thought that I was pretty good at that, but Frankie's just, anytime I say I don't like something, and Frankie will be like, here, try mine. Okay. Like I always hated sauerkraut. Then I tried Frankie's sauerkraut. Okay, I don't hate sauerkraut anymore. It's still not my favorite thing, but it was decent. I prefer that we make red cabbage from fresh, red cabbage.
Nice.
That's really that's a little bit sweet and crunchy. I prefer that.
Right.
You put that on top of some schnitzel or whatever. And the schnitzel, people that aren't familiar with it, it's flattened meat. It's like German chicken. It's like German chicken fried.
Yeah.
And we make it in several different varieties. Even making one out of portobello mushrooms. It's like the world's best fried mushroom. It's awesome. Yeah. For the vegans, or not vegans, vegetarians, I guess. Vegans couldn't.
We so have to go down this place now.
Yeah.
You said you were just getting married, so I'm going to segue into this. But
there you go.
This is a song I was talking. I'll just do a bit of it. This is a song I was talking about earlier. It's called "I Do," and it's. When I look into your eyes, I see everything I want my life to be. I want you in my arms, only you for all time. Your smile the first thing in the morning, to hear your laughter fill my day. Your arms to hold me at night. I do, I love you. I do, I love you. I love how you keep me sane. And when we argue, you use my full name. I love how you can be so tough, then gently lift me up with your love. I do. I do, I love you. Oh, I do, I love you. So that's only about half it, but and I keep improving on it. I gotta get that. This is the one I'm gonna do at the wedding, I think. So keep working on it. But it's when you do a song, you try to balance the message you want to get out, but it's got to be palatable. It's got to be enjoyable for people, and that's the hard part about it,
Sorry, I had the mics muted so we could just focus on you.
I'm answering you, and I'm just like, yeah, right. I'm like, I don't hear myself, but cool. No, that was really good. I like that, and all the feels right now. I tell you, my emotions are crazy.
Well, great. Well, when are you getting married?
Next summer, hopefully. We're trying to decide on, we've been talking about it for a while, and then he just,
right. Well, I know musicians, so if you need some musicians or anything, or need the food catered, I can handle all the aspects of that for you.
All right.
We just did a little sneak peek.
I'm so
live
shameless.
on the,
no, it's all right. No, I appreciate hearing
on
that
our
stuff.
show.
So, yeah. Yeah, definitely looking for. We're gonna be getting married in Frankenmuth. We know that much.
Well,
right
that's we just it's a nice town. You'll find somewhere pretty to get.
Yeah. Yep. So working through those details, that's gonna be fun.
It's a lot of fun. I think I see several of my nieces and nephews get married now, and it's like, and I remember my own many years ago when I got married. In my ill-fated venture, and
you sound like me.
But no, I mean,
also me.
I don't blame any of it on my. I'd be an equal partner in the failure of that situation, mostly just because everybody in the world saw that it was a bad idea, and I didn't listen to anybody. You're blinded.
Right.
You're I'm in love. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and it's like
Yeah.
My dad actually offered me a bus ticket out of town the week before the wedding.
Oh, wow.
And I thought he was joking, but he actually was serious. So
Yeah.
Not that he loved
Right.
my ex-wife. I know my ex-wife's with little kids.
Right.
She's a beautiful, wonderful person. Just seriously thought I shouldn't have married her, which was probably in hindsight advice I should have taken. But
Well, that's how I look back at my first marriage. We should have just been friends. And you just, and you realize that kind of late in the game. So So, but hey.
Live and learn.
Yeah, for sure.
I tagged you in on my page.
Oh.
So, yeah. Like I said, I'm not above shameless promotion, but
hey,
we just went live on the Don't Make This Weird podcast page on Facebook, and then I shared it and tagged you on my page. So,
yeah. Well, we're glad that you are here to share that stuff with us today.
And I don't know how
awesome.
long we're going for or anything, but it's whatever. We can spend as much time as you like or as little. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go as long as your schedule permits, man.
All right. Well, we'll go for a little bit longer.
That's fine.
And I try to rush anybody out, but he eventually has to get back to his home and his dog and his wife. So
I like how you put it in that order: the dog, then the wife.
Well, the dog might pee on the carpet. I don't think there's any fear of anything else.
Potty trained, a wife is a good.
As long as the wife doesn't pee on the carpet, we're good.
Right.
Jeez, man. Thanks for helping me out there. Throw me under the bus. Thanks, appreciate that.
Tony's not good at helping.
No. I just get a bigger shovel. That's
pretty
just how
much
it works.
that's what he does. He's like, okay, guys, I got the huge shovel for you. You're welcome.
I don't know. Can you hear that? Because all of a sudden I kind of lost like the left ear here.
Oh.
Probably the connection down there. I don't know. We're still working on getting all new equipment because we've been doing this for a minute.
You got it now.
No, he touched it and went in and went. Obviously, just that. I'm not worried about it. As long as I don't care if I can hear it or not, but as long as the mic's good, you get it.
Yeah, the mic's good. Yeah, you're good.
But I don't. I mean, I don't know enough about. Did you sing and write? Do you?
I do. Yep. I'm.
And this
just,
Heather, I'm talking. Okay.
Yeah, I've been singing and writing. I've been singing since I was like 5, but I really started more venturing into writing when I started hanging out with him. More before that, it was mostly just
4
poetry.
years ago, almost 5 now.
Almost 5, yeah. So I've done some stuff here in the studio, and that's probably one of the best times I've had because we've had so many different musicians come into the studio, and what we can throw together is just, it's crazy. It's a very cool experience. So.
Well, and that's the nice part about it is being able to work with musicians from all walks of learning, and it's crazy because, we had a guy in here that was playing tablas, the craziest thing ever. Like he made these 2 drums sound completely different every single time he played it.
It was so fun.
And it was so cool because you got a bunch of us, guys that are rockers and blues players and all this other stuff. And, we're like, hey, cool. How can we do like Middle Eastern stuff? And he's like, I want to play rock and roll. And it's like, wait, what? How can you play rock and... All right, then. And he just starts doing these really cool beats. Cool. And we're like, wow, this is weird. So you got like some of the whitest guys. We're talking like Conan O'Brien white. Tried to play rock and roll with an Indian guy who just has the most flawless tan ever. And it was just hilarious watching the dynamic musically go around the room. Though. It was so much fun.
It was probably one of my favorite studio experiences. I mean, and that's what I like is just come in here. It's like, okay, anything that you want to try to work on,
just
start playing something, So I usually what ends up happening with me is he starts playing and I steal it.
She totally does.
Just start writing. That's what I do.
I find that I give myself assignments because I don't want to write. For the longest time I wrote the same song over and over again. So I don't want to do that. So I started giving myself assignments. Okay, so I want to write today. I want to write an upbeat song and kind of a Tin Pan Alley, arrangement. Or I want to do something a little more jazzy today. Or I've written 2 blues songs now. I don't think either one were fantastic, but they're okay. But I had a buddy of mine is like basically was a challenge. You can't write blues for the ukulele. It's like, all right, fine, okay. I'm gonna write a couple of blues songs and see. And actually, we performed the one. I thought he didn't like it. I wrote it for him like 6 months ago, and then he's like, "Oh, Pete, yay, man, we're gonna play that song of yours." Like, and he's a killer harmonica player, my buddy Jacob Rollins, and nice. He's a young guy. I think he's been. I think some old blues guy died, and they resurrected inside his soul. Cause he's just like 20 or 21-year-old white kid, and he just like. Just screaming blues, like Delta blues type of stuff, and he's killer on the guitar, and he's killer on the harmonica. So that's cool, man. And it's like just the really basic, You don't know me, but I'm gonna rock you and it goes on and on from there. But it's just every blues. I always say that no disrespect to it, but I mean there's like 50 blues songs and they just keep getting rewritten.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They're very traditional. They're you can see that same A to A7, D7, E7.
Yeah.
That gets used a lot. A lot. It nothing wrong with it. It's just but the guys that can improvise on that and make some great solos, that's where the real interesting stuff comes. And I can't do that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Not
you.
as of yet, anyway.
Do you ever just like pick it up completely cold and then write a song that you didn't even know
I'm
was
just
in
saying
there?
not blues, but I mean,
Right.
I used to have a thing at my gigs where I would, and I still do. I'll go to like Megan Dooley does in Kalamazoo does an open mic at Final Gravity, and that's one of my favorite. They got a really actually like most. You go to most of these little things, and they really don't have a real stage. They have a corner they use, and they put some amps up, and they're like, "Okay, play, guys," and it's like it's fun, but it's Final Gravity actually has a real stage, raised stage, and it actually is all plugged in and everything, and they got so it's you go there, and so I'll go in the crowd. I'll go, okay, somebody give me what's your name? Becky. Okay, Becky. Okay, so give me a letter of the alphabet, and whatever the letter is, that'll be the chord. So it's like C. Okay, so. Becky, where are you from? I'm from Kalamazoo. Okay. Here is Becky. She's from Kalamazoo. Prettiest girl you ever knew. That's Becky from Kalamazoo. Some are better than others, but I mean, that's I used to do it all the time. And if I was busking, I would do the same thing. And one of the songs I did actually came from that. It's one called Two More Songs, and it's
I love this one.
My buddy Mike was always late getting home to the wife. And she doesn't care because she's not really a night owl. She'd go to bed about 9 o'clock at night, I think.
Right.
But always the joke was Mike says, well, I'm going to go on 2 songs. So it's like, okay. So I said, I'm going to write this song just to pick on Mike. And he's one of my favorite people in the world. But I'm going to pick on him. 2 hours late for leaving. 2 more songs and I'll go. Should be home beside you, dear. I'm not trying to be cool. Darling, when that music's playing, like a drug for my soul. Please forgive me, baby. Oh, just 2 more songs, 2 more songs, 2 more songs, and I'll go. I didn't drink any water, sorry. Just pretend I whistled there. Ba 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 da da. Ba 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 ba. So there we go. That's on my first album, actually. And I'm going to do a little shameless promotion there. If you get hold of me on Pete Shumann's House of Music, for $5, I'll send you a digital copy. You can go on Amazon, but I don't get much of a cut of that, so I'd much rather you just get hold of me in person, and I will send you a
absolutely.
digital. And if you really are old school and want me to send you a CD, that costs slightly more, but I will send you a CD if you want. So it's called The Light of Your Smile, and it's actually got the picture of my pretty girlfriend on the cover, of her lips, actually. We couldn't find a picture I wanted. I have a friend who's a photographer, and we did all this stuff. Nice. And then I had this picture that I'd taken of her, and I had just cropped it, and so it was just a smirk of her lips. And I said, "Man, that's it, man." Right. So we're gonna use that. So, cool. But my real goal, and that is 7 songs on it, which are cool. There's some decent songs, but and it's really bare bones. It's just me and my ukulele. I did it at La Luna Records in Kalamazoo. A guy named Ian there does a really good job. Right. He used to be a big time guy at Nashville, and he decided he was going to be back to his hometown in Kalamazoo, and he's got a really thriving studio going there, so it's good for him. But my goal, and when I have a lot of money and time, is I want to set up a studio for several days and have all my musician friends come and sit in on songs, or maybe do covers of my songs or whatever. But I want it to be one of those things where if I die, they can pull up and say, or say, not if I die, when I die. Because we're all going to die, right? So I haven't found the cure yet.
I'm living till 176 and becoming a cyborg.
In my family, if you make it to your 80s, that's like a triumph. That's a triumphant. and I don't treat myself very well. I'm too fat and I'm too heavy, and it's things. So I mean, if I make it to my 75, I don't know, 80, I don't know. I'm not saying I want to die. I'm just saying, reality is what it is. I think I'm probably through more of my life than I've got left. I don't think I'm gonna make it to 100 by any shot. This is not middle age by a real standard. That's like
You'll probably outlive us all, Pete.
Anyway, the whole point is I want something that's like a marker. So maybe I just played on loop at my funeral and said, "Oh, this is the one album we did that was awesome." It's like, so that would be great. But,
well, I tell you what, man, if you're ever in the area and you want to cut a record, I'll give you a screaming deal in the studio. Because I could listen to you sing and play all day long, and I'm sure Heather could too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, the whole idea is not about me, but it's just about, like I said, I don't know about the Carroll area, but Kalamazoo were just amazingly. I mean, there's talent.
Yeah.
Out of every corner. And a lot of these guys have been playing for many, many years, and they're just amazing. I think of my friend Miranda Lee, and I think of Michael Fleckenstein and his group, and his wife Shannon is a beautiful singer, and I could name them all, but there's a bunch of people that are just they could drop in any time, and just like Mike, for example, Mike's been picking. Mike's 60, I don't know, he's older. He won't let me tell his age, but he's quite a bit older than me. But Mike's been picking since he's been like 12 years old, and he's been playing out in public since he's been like 15. So Mike drops in any of my songs, he improves them. It's just like.
Nice.
I'm doing like simple da da da, and Mike's like, okay, great, I'll fine, and his skill is country and blues picking, but he can do anything, and he plays by ear, and this is the magic of it. This guy's never trained or anything really. He just by ear, right. And he's one of these guys like, wait, sing. Oh yeah, you're doing that in C, and it's like, all right, I hate you, man.
See, when we were talking about that when you were playing at the booth there, I was like, man, I wish I would have brought my guitar, because just the opportunity to jam with another talented musician it's so much fun. And like I said, fangirling for a moment, getting the fact to play your ukulele when you went to take a break, that was just cool to me, because I've always been a huge fan at heart for any musician that does something that I'm not proficient at, and that's just so much fun to me. Just to sit and watch and appreciate from a fan standpoint.
So for anybody that is wanting to try to play ukulele, what would your suggestion be as starting out?
Don't teach yourself. That's what I did, and I don't recommend it. And also learn picking and chord playing at the same time. Don't do them separately. I learned for the first year or two that I played just chords.
Right.
And then, but when you're playing a lot of stuff, like, it's much better if you're strumming. You do a nice pick. It's much softer in the ukulele, because ukulele by its design it's a very short string span, and so it becomes kind of percussive. Kind of like a banjo or anything, or a lot of those, it's by its nature a little more percussive than a regular guitar is, which is, so when you're working against that, and I have a hard time. A lot of times I'll hit too hard, and especially when not so much in live performances, but when you're recording, it comes off really strong, especially if I'm on using a cell phone or something to record.
Right.
It comes off. All you can hear is the ukulele going, and it's one criticism I got from a lot of my family when they said, and all you can hear is that damn ukulele. Could you back it up a little bit? So I started putting the camera up a little higher, and that, so I wasn't
right.
Because what it was doing was coming straight out and hitting that first, and so the vocals were getting drowned out. Not necessarily drowned out, but I mean, because I'm a pretty strong singer, but it would just be annoyingly more there than you wanted it to be. And then I had to learn to soften, with the pad. But these are things you learn if you actually learn from somebody who knows what they're doing. I taught myself through the internet and that, and I just a lot of hours of playing. And that's the other thing. You have to practice a lot. And it's any instrument you're going to use, whether it be a guitar, piano. And that's why my piano kind of stinks right now, is I haven't devoted myself every day. I've got to set a certain amount of my time every day. At least 20 minutes or half hour every day to touch it, and I haven't been doing that. So I've been making very slow progress. My Shirley Kime is my teacher. She's the most feisty 80-some-year-old you'll ever meet. She's an amazingly talented lady. I'm not trying to be condescending at all. She's really,
that's awesome.
I want to be like that. I want to get that old and be and being amazingly energetic. She's in like 3 different music groups and plays at her church and all. But she's an amazing teacher, and she's the most patient woman in the world. Because I'll go there and like, she goes, "You haven't touched the piano this week hardly at all, have you?" And it's like, yeah, let's just get through this. Like, and we're good friends, so she just, she's a good sport, so we'll go through it.
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
But I have a hard time with, like I said, I've Swiss cheese knowledge in my music, so we'll talk about different times and all that. And I can tell me 3/4 time, I can play a 3/4 time, but explain what that means or why it means what it does. I don't really understand that. Or she'll go into the fifths, the circle of fifths.
Or relative minors and majors and yada, yada, yada.
You can explain it to me all day, and it doesn't stick in my brain.
Of course.
I know it's a thing. I know it exists. I know it's important to know.
Right.
And she every time I go for her, she's like, "Okay, so we're gonna talk about this again." It's like, no, I can't. It's why the chords have to have a So this chord has a black key in it. Why does it have a black key in it? I don't know. I'm just memorizing. That's the F.
Right.
So.
Well, I look at the greats. Like Jimi Hendrix. The man never knew a lick of music theory, but good God, did he write some of the greatest songs?
Well, sure. And there's nothing wrong with learning music theory. I'm not against it at all. I'm just saying I've always had kind of a learning problem with certain things. When I was a kid and I learned math, it was all I could do to pound it into my head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we had a father who was an accountant, and he'd sit there, 2 by 2, 7 times 7. He would drill us in the
right.
And he had to with me because it just did not stick in my head.
I was the same way.
And I did really good with basic math, and we got into algebra. Just forget it. You mix the alphabet and the letters together, and I'm not.
Same way.
It took me till I got to college to have the discipline to actually sit down. I got so I could be halfway decent at that, but I never really did use it. But I could force myself to do it. But I had to. For me, it was such a process, and I had to go with it backwards.
Yeah.
Like my answers would always be right, but my proof would never. Be with what they wanted. That's not the right proof. Well, I got the right answer. Yeah, well, we need the proof to be right. I'll forget it. Anyway.
It's funny you say that because that's as far as I've gotten my music career and all the things that I've done. It's day in, day out practice. Because, you see those guys that come along that are younger, smarter, faster than you, and you're like, really? I've been busting my butt here to retain what I have. Yeah. And, it's funny how, like you were talking about, that you got the great voice and you can hold together, everything that you're doing with the ukulele and the way that you sing. And I think that's incredible. Now, somebody like with me would be, oh, well, yeah, you've been playing this long and you're an incredible guitar player. And I'm like, no, I'm still learning because it's a daily struggle to retain what I have.
But isn't it always learning, though, when it comes to music? I mean, there's always something that
everybody's got a different learning curve. Everybody, everybody has different things they bring to it. Some people are fantastic. It's a rare person that's a fantastic technician and is also an amazing performer. When you can put both those, it's the nexus of wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And those are the people that are the greats. That's it. But it's not everybody that can do that.
Right.
Now they may be terrible human beings, so they don't. So there's something that is always missing.
Right.
I think Elvis. Is one of the monsters of all time as far as legends, but very flawed human being and very he's
incredible.
But
Albert Einstein the same way. Yeah. Just an absolute dumpster fire as a human being, but brilliant scientist.
Right.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know that much about him really, but I just know that people like his hair.
Good hair is important.
I didn't fully answer your question, but I'd say if you can afford to get lessons, get them. If not, just you can go online and find all kinds of great stuff. Even the great Jake Shumann has learning videos on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, and you can buy a shim ukulele now for the little ad for him. $2.99 you can buy a shim. Him and his brother.
That was my next question.
Him and his brother started a company. I don't know that it's probably decent if Jake's endorsing it, and they test it. Supposedly him or his brother test everyone. Probably heavy on his brother, I'd imagine. It's probably his brother's company.
Right.
For those who don't know, Jake Shumann is the number one ukulele player probably in the world.
Really?
An amazing guy. He can play classical concert. He's got 3 sets of hands. I saw him in Kalamazoo a few years back, and I'm still enthralled by him. But
that's crazy.
Also, we have a group in Kalamazoo, and every community has if you have a ukulele group in your community, reach out to them. They're a big resource for learning, and so that helps. And I just say play it like an instrument. I get too much people that fetishize. I'm probably not saying the word right, but they put on a Hawaiian shirt and they make a weirdness about it. It's an instrument. You can play whatever you want on it. It's an instrument, but be mindful. There's certain things that'll be stronger on certain ones than others, and that's of course. But I mean, there's no reason that it has to be just Hawaiian songs, and it just has to be whatever. It actually started out as an instrument. I think came from Portugal or Spain, I believe, originally. The first ukuleles, and weren't called ukuleles. I think they probably were early version of the cuatro, probably is what it was.
Something like that.
And they came to Hawaii with the sailors, and then when the sailors left, they left it behind, and the locals picked it up, and it became a big thing in Hawaii. So it was a cheap, easy way for them to make music, and they really mastered it. And God bless the Hawaiians. But but it is. It's just an instrument. And there's no reason to be weird about it. It's not a baby instrument. It's an actual instrument.
Right.
Play it like let's if you're gonna do something, just play it. And it just be good. But I'm probably thinking on the next thing is that I love my ukulele, but I'm probably gonna be moving on and not get rid of it, but I will probably be either probably trying guitar or try to master the piano again. So there's so much more composing you can do on a piano. It's much easier. And I'm a big Billy Joel fan. I'd love to put a lot more of that in my repertoire, but it's kind of hard to do on the ukulele,
That would be kind of cool to see, though, Billy Joel and the ukulele.
I do some Billy Joel songs on the ukulele, but it's just it's harder to do than some of the other things. Piano Man doesn't make much sense in ukulele.
Right.
You can do it, but it doesn't. Bring us down to the Piano Man. It isn't. It doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, I was just curious about how.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the number one thing is time and effort. And then be smart and use the right tools that are out there. We live in an age where you get on the internet, you can find, I find a lot of the chording. I use Pinterest even and things, and I try to find things that are, for me, if as a performer, things that fit on one page.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to play around. I know you can get a foot pedal, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to carry 18 extra things with me.
Of course.
I try to find a cheat sheet, or it doesn't have to be the full song, but just enough that it gets me in the right neighborhood when I'm practicing it. And then after a while, I won't need it at all. And I do, when doves cry, I don't need to look that up. I can play about an hour and a half off the top of my head now, and I didn't used to be the case. I'm not a natural one for remembering stuff. So
right.
But it's
yeah, that's one of the things that just it actually absolutely captivated me when doves cry. I was like,
oh, do you got the mic on?
Yeah, go ahead, man. We're still hot.
All right, we're gonna. Like I said, I think we got to get going here about another 10 minutes. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that clock's wrong. Don't.
Yeah, I'm looking at that clock, thinking that's no help at all. It's moving. So this is Prince died, and I was playing a gig like the day after Prince died, and somebody ran over. You got to play a Prince song, and I love Prince, but I really didn't have any songs that I played in the ukulele. So I went on the internet and found 4 or 5 of them that I thought might work, and then. So this is When Doves Cry. So. Dig, if you will, a picture. You and I engaged in a kiss. Sweat of your body covers me. Can you, my darling, can you picture this? If you can, a courtyard, an ocean of violets in bloom. Animals strike curious poses. They feel the heat between me and how can you just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold, so cold. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry. When doves cry. When doves cry. Touch, if you will, my stomach. See how it trembles inside. You got the butterflies it sounds like windows cry. Windows cry. Windows cry. Something like that.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man. That was so cool.
Thank you for sharing that. It's been awesome having you here in the studio.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad that you can make it out. And are we wrapping that up?
No, I was just trying to get the one channel turned off while the
okay.
other one was staying on.
I was just
I'm
making sure. I'm like, okay.
Please tell me I didn't screw this up.
It's like I didn't know for sure if we were, But yeah, it's been an honor having you on. I'm glad that you can make it out.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, if you ever want to, if you know what I'm doing or whatever, usually the Facebook page, the Pete Shumann's House of Music is the best place to look. And if you have something else you're doing or whatever you want to, definitely give it to me. I'll add that to there if you like. And if you're in the area, please stop in and we could jam or something. It'd be awesome.
That would be great, man.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Make a trip. Maybe
it's such a musician thing with jam, you gotta say with the jam, like the voice, the jam. You can't just say we jam, we jam, man. So
that's awesome.
No, we really appreciate you taking the time to come out, man, and it's awesome.
You have so much enthusiasm. I probably wouldn't drive to Carroll for just anybody. But you have so much enthusiasm, so I gotta fit that in. Tony's like, and you're like the first one to like and post everything I do, and it's like you're like one of 3 people I know that every time it's like oh, there goes the share from Tony. That's cool. So I do appreciate it. It doesn't hurt.
I always get the hey, did you see what Pete just posted, honey? And I was like, I haven't had a chance to look at my phone yet. My fiance, he's always Pete just posted something else. So I mean, you made an impression.
I get the late night. I get goofy late at night sometimes, and I just want to play music, and then I end up posting a bunch of stuff. Like I probably should have edited that first or whatever. I just that's the problem with the live feature on Facebook is there's not any editing that involves. It's just that was I had the big zit on top of my head. I probably should have looked at that before I posted that, or the audio on that really sucked. It's like it's gonna make a good song sound bad, So you really got to be. I've sometimes I'm not as a good custodian of my own internet brand as I should be.
That's the thing at the heart of it all. To me, if you don't have a fan base, you don't have a career. And I'm a huge fan of supporting local musicians. Mm-hmm. And you're out there, you're in the trenches, man. You're dealing with the people that are making the face like they just smelled I don't even know. I can't even describe it right now. But cheese, a bad Limburger cheese or something. But you're doing it and you have fun doing it, and I can get behind that so much. That's why I'm so enthusiastic. And the fact that for purely selfish reasons, you have an incredible voice, and I could listen to you sing and play all day.
And anytime somebody, I have people that come fairly regularly and would listen to me play, and it's really cool, especially in South Haven. I had quite a few people that would come in and say, "Oh, Pete's here."
Yeah,
great. And that's great when somebody's actually, I had these 2 girls, and some of the greatest ones are young kids. These girls probably about 12 or 13 each.
Yeah,
and they would walk by. They're on vacation, but every time I come, they walk by and they drop like a quarter in my thing every time they go by.
Oh,
and it's
that's
like,
cool.
Girls, you don't have to put money in it's not a toll booth. Like, no, we love you. You're so great.
That's awesome.
And then one day this guy comes. He's like, guy a little bit older than me. I'd say probably 55 or something. And he's like doggedly being dragged down the street by these 2 girls.
Right.
And he's like, okay, my daughter said I have to listen to you sing. He's like, oh, sorry, man. Didn't mean to put you. So I did a couple songs like, no pressure. He's like, all right, never mind. They were right.
All right.
It's funny to, it's good to have that. And I have this, another lady with her little daughter, and it's like the kid's like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing when you're in front of I'll play in front of one ice cream shop there in South Haven. All these little kids covered in ice cream and dancing, and nothing more fun than that.
Yeah.
And they're dancing around, so I'll do like ba 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 ba. Anything that gets them moving.
Right.
All the old 50s songs. It's like
absolutely.
Teenager in Love, whatever I can find. Run Around Sue, whatever. Anything with the upbeat, the kids love it. They don't know. All they know is the beat. They're like
yeah.
And then. Well,
awesome.
it's just watching little kids dance, and that's when I'm playing outdoor gigs, that's my number one audience is the 3-year-olds. The parents are giving them $1 and they come toddling up.
Aww.
Yeah.
I saw one family one time. The guy was having too much fun. But a grandpa, He kept like pulling dollars out of his pocket. Here, do another one. I'm like, okay, that works out to my advantage. It was just cute because he was like, he's like, take video of the kid dropping the dollar, and he thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And then he came up and he's like, what the heck did he ask me? Do you know any Frank Sinatra? And I do Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh yeah.
Like, all right. Well, he's like digging in his wallet. I got it. I was like, well, okay, I like guys like you, whatever, And it's you're good for my economy, But
right.
But it's just watching people. Don't get me wrong. I'm out there. I like to make as much money as I can to try to pay my bills. But
of course.
But when you see the joy on people's faces when you're sharing that moment with them, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't beat. Little kids listening to music is the coolest thing. It's just really good.
Oh yeah, you're opening their world to a whole new thing. Especially, like I said, when you do what you do, just watching the people. Even when you were sitting at our booth and you were playing and people would walk by and they'd hear, screaming Jesus over there, and then they'd catch what you're doing. They'd just like stop and keep walking. And then when they get past what's his face, they'd stand there and watch you play. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
And then
that's
they'd
incredible.
Stop and they'd check out my stuff in my booth, and I'm like, I'm thinking you're good for my economy.
Yeah. She totally extorted you, Pete. So I'm just throwing that out
whatever
there.
it takes. No,
it was very cool to have you come and sit there and play and drowned out all other stuff going on.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, I went from hulking to, just, I'm relaxed and chilled now. I'm good.
So, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to do one more before I go.
Yeah,
absolutely,
sure.
man.
And if I had a hit, this would be it. And I really don't have any hits, but if I did, this is one that gets requested the most, and it's the stupidest, dumbest song. I used to live in Hawaii, and the hilarious thing is I never learned to play the ukulele that I got back from Hawaii. My brother Ted, as a joke, got me a ukulele one year for Christmas, and I started playing around with it and found I enjoyed it, so I kept practicing and using it.
Okay.
And now he's sorry about that because he doesn't really like ukuleles, but I get to torture him with my ukulele. So he's always like, "Don't you want to play a real instrument?" It's like, hey, don't play an ego with me, man.
Right.
Like, but no, he's funny. So that's the very first ukulele I got was from him, and then. But anyway, I had insomnia. Sometimes I don't sleep very well, and this is a few years back, and I was just sitting there and just sitting on the bed strumming. And okay, there must be a song there. And we're on the radio, so is this for kids? Do kids listen to this?
Not really.
It's more of an adult show.
All right, well, the when you play around, it's like they talk about the Paul McCartney thing, was it scrambled eggs or whatever? The one song he was right. Well, the first version of this was Sweet Punani. and I said, well, you can't play that on the radio, so we had to change that. And then, as you're playing around with lyrics, and it became. I said, well, I had a buddy who got beat up. He was in the military there, and he got beat up by the locals because he was dating their sister, and they didn't think he was treating her right.
Right.
And then they actually ended up getting married in the long run. But this is a funny story he would tell about. Yeah, when my brother-in-laws first met me, they beat the shit out of me. So sweet Leilani. Sweet, sweet Leilani, the prettiest of all the island girls. Sweet, sweet Leilani, I dream of you beside me here. When I met you on the beach, you smiled and I could barely speak. Sing along if you want. Later when your brother beat me with his punishing fist, you were there to nurse me back to health. Sweet, sweet Leilani, I want you in my arms tonight. Sweet you be my only girl? Sweet, sweet Leilani, I want you in my arms tonight. Sweet, sweet Leilani, underneath the starry skies. Won't you be my only girl? Won't you be my only girl?
Awesome.
That is great, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man.
sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this special edition Don't Make This Weird podcast. I look forward possibly to having you on again if you're around in the area. I really enjoyed you being here today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
coming on the
you.
show, man. And we'll have all of the upcoming events that you have that you share on your page. We'll put them on ours and blow them up and pimp them out for you. That way we can get some more people to come see you and enjoy what we've enjoyed in the studio
I'll
here.
have to get
so-
them out there. I'm a little bad. Usually I do like a couple weeks ahead of time, but I really should be doing it like months ahead of time. But I don't always post that far ahead.
Hey, there's nothing
And,
like last minute, right?
Hey, I have friends that already have stuff posted for Christmas already, which I guess is a good thing. But and I'm doing a Christmas show at Shawat. I think it's the 22nd
Okay.
Cool.
of December, but I need to double check that and get that. But I said Pete Shumann's House of Music on Facebook. So
Check
there you
that
go.
out, guys.
Yeah.
Check that
Shameless
out.
Plug number 47. There you go.
Yeah, we're all about it.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
about it. So
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Pete. Have a safe trip wherever you're heading
Thank
off
you.
after you
Yeah,
leave
Bay
here.
City,
And
then I'm originally my hometown. It's just my hometown's Bay City, but I've been living in Kalamazoo for like the last 5 years, and I've lived all over the place. But Bay City's always my home. That's where my
Yeah.
family is. and
Sweet,
loved
man.
ones, So.
well, cool. Thanks
right.
again.
Thanks
Have a great,
again.
great evening.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.